top 5 wins of the first season of the Joey McGuire era. Dustin, well, again, starting with you with number 5, your number 5 win of the Joey McGuire era.
I wonder if we can get these exactly correct together.
Yeah, well, we'll find out here.
Number 5, West Virginia.
Boom. Correct.
Yes. 48-10, ass kicking. JT Daniels turning the ball over left and right. You handled business like no other. And that was, like I mentioned in my moments, like it's very satisfying as a Tech fan to get to sit back in the stadium or at home and get to watch that and just enjoy a nice win.
Yeah. Yeah, and my reasons kind of for it was the future, the look into the future, the Baron Morton game where, he was completely healthy. He was dealing out there. The offense was moving the ball. Your defense was playing great. You don't have a lot of easy games, and to have an easy game like that, a dominating win with a quarterback that you think is your future was definitely nice. So let's see if we can keep it going. I'm curious. This is where I think we might have the mix-up. My number 4 is Houston.
Let's go.
My number 4 is Houston. And maybe it would have been higher if Houston had a better season. But yeah, I think it gets 4 here because they ended up kind of being a struggling team this season. But at the same time, you got a big overtime win against them. You had to fight back from a couple times where you thought the game was completely lost, yet somehow came away with the win. So yeah, Houston number 4 for me.
And kind of like you always say, like, they haven't ever like beat us and overtaken us. So like keep them in their place is nice, especially when they're coming to the Big 12. They're recruiting a lot of kids out of Houston, and you got to recruit against them directly.
Yep.
So to keep them in their place is real nice.
All right, let's see if we can keep it going. Number 3,
Iowa State.
Boom.
Boom. Huge defensive game, but the most important thing in that, you clinched the bowl.
Yep. You clinched the bowl, and like I kind of mentioned before when I talked about this win, is Iowa State was the program that kind of had surpassed you. Kind
of got that Matt Campbell monkey off your back.
Yeah, and you beat them 2 years in a row now, and it kind of feels like you've reestablished yourself as maybe ahead of them in the Big 12 conference, which is nice because that was a team that you didn't want to see pass you. That hurt once they felt like they passed you as a program. So, yes. And then number 2, Oklahoma.
Yep.
OU number 2, a team you hadn't beat at home since 2010 when Taylor Potts was your quarterback. A team that you just haven't even had real competitive games with. They've just kind of blown you out. Like even you have that Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield crazy one where you were still in it at the end, but you knew you weren't going to get a defensive stop to give you a chance to win that one at any time. So to get a win over them in what was a fun, electric, entertaining game and to end your season definitely has to be up there.
And like I've mentioned, like once Oklahoma games become shootouts, we don't usually feel good because we know how these end.
Yeah. Seen that story many times.
Seen that story. So obviously, number 1, the Texas game. This is an appropriate time to do the
appropriate time,
everybody.
An appropriate time.
Appropriate time to beat, like we just mentioned in the last segment, like to beat Texas, who they're riding high. They got the best running back in the nation. They love Sarkisian. They like they have big time Quinn Ewers and all these receivers, and they're big bag. Texas coming in thinking they're hot shit this year, and that was Joey McGuire's first big moment and win, and the fans got to feel it too and get on the field. So the comeback was crazy. Like there was lots of crazy moments in that, and your defense second half just flipped the script and stood up strong and held them to like barely over 100 yards.
Yeah, it was the first time you could tell things were different. Mm-hmm. Really. You had moments in that Houston where you battled, but it was the first time where like, wow, a Wells team just kind of folds and loses that game by a lot. Cliff team, probably doesn't withstand that, doesn't have the defense to get the stops for that. You were able to get the stops on defense. You were able to make the plays on offense and do everything you needed to win that game. And like you said, a team that had Quinn Ewers, a guy you were battling for, and this big bad Texas team that's spending all this money on these players and leaving because they obviously think that they're better than you, and just to be able to get that win over them just solidified, all right, we made the right hire. We've got the right guy, and this team is going to battle. They're going to fight, and they proved all of that in that game, and that's a win that we'll be looking back on for a long time. And so, yeah, definitely the top win of the season. Catch y'all at the next tailgate.